Hi, this is Joseph. In this video, we're going to talk about, or I'm going to answer, the questions that I've been receiving about the trade copier service, the Forex automated trade copier, Forex automated trade signals. For many of the MT4 traders that join this particular service, most of them are my private coaching students and also some of my chat room members. And then also other trade copier subscribers who have communicated to me that they want to earn more profits. They've got larger trading accounts. So one of the questions that I received pretty often over the past few days was, how long have I been offering this particular service, the second more robust trade copier service that provides 3 to 4 times more profits? Now, this one has been, I've always offered it to my trade copier subscribers. Again, as I mentioned before, I started offering trade copiers back in 2007. It was a request from my chat room members. So in 2007, I started my first chat room. I was using a trade call service where I was calling out trades live in the chat room, and then I was teaching my strategies to those who were in the chat room. And then a lot of, not a lot of them, but many of them were, my subscribers were saying that they weren't always able to attend the chat room every single day. So they weren't able to get all of the trades that I was calling out. So they had asked me if I had ever considered offering or using trade copiers. And trade copiers were relatively new to me. I knew about some of them that existed back then, but I really didn't mess around with them. And some of them were really elaborate. They weren't like the trade copiers that we use today. Some of them were, but there was a couple of them that I tried initially, and they required a lot of my time. Like I had to manually type in the exact entry point and the take profit and stop loss. And there's nothing wrong with that when you've got more time. But I'm a hands-on trader, and I execute at market when I get my precise entry. So if you watch some of my videos on the website, and I teach and share some of the basic strategies like the continuation breakout trade, I use a 3-pip entry. If you don't know what that means, you can watch it in the membership area or watch some of the videos on the website. And it requires a specific entry. So I wait for that entry to either occur, or if the entry doesn't occur, I don't take the trade at all. I make that manual decision by being there in the heat of the moment to actually decide to trade. Now, sometimes you can set in or get an idea, and maybe you think something's going to happen, and it doesn't happen. Price doesn't move in the way you expect. And if you were to set in a take profit level and just let it sort of carry you in, the dynamics, the structure, that things can change. There can be head fakes, spikes, things like that. So I've always learned and preferred to just be a manual, hands-on trader. It works best for me. It's always produced the best results for me in that regard. So again, I am hands-on, and I've offered this trade copier service, this more robust with more than 3 to 4 times more profits than the other one, for those specific traders. Now, the difference with those two traders, the two trader types, and the two types of trade signals or the services, the best Forex trade copier and then this one, Forex automated trade signals, the difference there is the type of trader that you are. Some traders only have $50 to $100 or $150, $250, and they can only trade micro lots, and they don't really care, and they know that they're not going to earn more than maybe a couple of $100 a month, and they're okay with that. So in that regard, they are only willing to pay $99 or $100 one time for a whole year's membership. It doesn't make any sense. It's not cost effective for a trader that only has $150 or $200 in their trading account to pay $179 or $200 a month for a trade signal service. It just doesn't make any sense for a trade copier. So again, that's why I've always offered that. But I also realized that a lot of those traders, that type of trader, also doesn't, unfortunately, spend a great deal of time really being a student of the market. They're more involved in a more, and I don't want to classify everybody because I'm not, but for the most part, the majority of them have sort of a trader or a gambling type of mentality where they see only what they see or what they know today, and they really don't spend a lot of time studying the markets and improving and taking that, because it really does. I mean, honestly, when someone new asks me about trading, they say, what could I prepare for? what should I expect if I want to become a full-time trader? It is an enormous investment in your time. You have to control your environment, and this is the way that I do it. Some people would probably argue that it's really easy, and that I don't necessarily believe that. I would like to say that it's easy, but that would be my ego talking. When I say it's easy, it's because I've been doing it for almost 19 years now. I started trading in 2001, but it is a huge investment in your time. You're controlling your environment. Your family's got to understand what you're involved in, what you're doing. There has to be the discipline of when you earn profits, hanging on to some of those profits, because you've got to grow your account. If you want to make your future easier and you want to make more money, you're going to have to add more to your trades as time passes to earn more money from your trades. So you have to have the ability to execute, let's say, for example, going from a mini lot, earning $1 a pip, to eventually your goal should be the equivalent of trading a standard lot, earning $10 a pip. That's what I'm getting at. So if you're at a mini lot today, your goal to make your future easier, to earn more money, is to then get to the point where you can trade a standard lot. But a lot of my subscribers are at the point where they can execute a standard lot, and they're comfortable with it, and they understand money management, they understand leverage. So that is the difference. That is the difference. There is those individuals who have the money and they have the trading account, the capital to trade standard lots and earn more money. They're willing to pay on a monthly basis, and they want someone who's going to be trading around the clock for them from Monday to Friday. As I mentioned before, I spend anywhere from 10 hours, 8 hours to 16 or even 18 hours a day on certain days when it requires that all of my open positions demand that I manage those trades and watch the market. If it's let's say a political event, like when we traded when Trump was elected as president in the United States, we traded around the clock during the middle of the week, and it was very time consuming. There were a lot of temptations. There were a lot of false signals during the election as the reports were coming in, whether or not he won, whether or not he didn't, who was winning, all of this information. And it happens with any election around the world when it's a big global event or a particular event that can have an impact on the Forex. So it's the same thing. There are those events that require a lot of time, and they're not solidified and done just because an announcement is released. There's the input or the constant updating of that information. So when you try to trade, your trades could go wrong quickly. There could be another announcement an hour later after you get into trade if it's a political event like that. We've seen them happen, and you've got to be there. You've got to be hands-on. You've got to be quick. So again, some of those events require me to be trading around the clock. So my subscribers that are in this Forex Automated Trade Signals service know that it's a huge demand on my time, and by paying me monthly, they're paying me to continue to manage their trades for them monthly, and they want the best results. So an additional question, other questions here, I'm going to go ahead and go through the list. Is there a balance requirement? Is there a trading balance requirement for their trading account? No, there really isn't. But again, back to my explanation just a few minutes ago, the best Forex trade copier is a one-time payment for a whole year, and you get one trade at a time. Those individuals, for the most part, have very limited funds, and again, there isn't a capital requirement, but there's no reason why someone with $150 in their bank account, their trading account, there's no reason why they would pay $200 or $300 a month for a trade copier service to have a professional trader manage those trades. It's just not cost effective. So from my point of view, and I'm not saying that there is a capital requirement, because there isn't, to join the Forex Automated Trade Signals, the one that you're looking at now. There isn't a capital requirement, but again, it is a monthly subscription price of $179 a month. I pay for the social trader tools out of that $179, but you pay $179, it's monthly. I never have special offers with this particular trade copier service where you get a whole year or a lifetime membership. I would never do that, because the demand of my time is so enormous, trading around the clock Monday to Friday, including Sundays. As a matter of fact, when the market's open for trading, I'm in California, so the market's open at 2 o'clock in the afternoon for me. And there are some Sundays where I won't trade at all if I'm doing something with my family or if it's a holiday anyway. But there are other Sundays where I will sit and watch the market open, because I can see that something happened over the weekend. So, for example, Boris Johnson, a few years back with Brexit, made a comment And you probably remember this. His comment caused the pound dollar to gap and drop significantly on the open. And that was an opportunity. It caused a continuation breakout trade on the open for me and my subscribers. So I knew and was listening and watching the reports before the market opened at on Sunday for me at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So I knew there was going to be some kind of reaction. So I was there when the market opened for trading. And again, so now it turns my responsibilities into a 6-day-a-week opportunity. And then there are sometimes when I also do some coaching on a Saturday, so sometimes it's 7 days a week. So I'm getting paid appropriately by charging the $179 from my subscribers. So again, there is no capital requirement, balance requirement, but I would recommend that obviously to make it cost effective, you have the ability to at least trade a mini lot, earning approximately $1 a pip, a $10,000. They refer to it as a 10K account. You're earning about $1 a pip. For those of you that are really vague with these ideas, what I'm saying here, a 10K account, 100K account, it doesn't mean that you have to have 10K in your account or $100,000 in your account. That's how they refer to it as. So look it up. Again, you should have all of this. You should have a complete understanding of everything that I'm talking about, or this trade copier service wouldn't make any sense for you. It is obviously for a more advanced, experienced trader who's looking to improve their profits. The doctor who is trying to trade at the same time. I have trading coaching students who are doctors and they want to become full-time traders. I even have a couple of attorneys that are trying to become full-time traders, and they want to close down their practice. They're trying to trade at the same time that they're running their business, and it's not working for them. So they use the service just like this. And obviously, as you can imagine, they're taking some of their retirement or savings, and they're moving it into a trading account like this and letting it grow. They've got the capital. So it's got to be cost-effective for you. If you were to be using a 10K account, earning, in trading a mini lot, earning about $1 a pip on the euro dollar or the pound dollar. If I'm earning about 500 pips to 1,000 pips net profit per month, then it would be cost effective for you, right? If you're using a mini lot and I make 1,000 pips one month, that's $1,000. So if you're paying me $179 a month to trade for you, then you get to keep the profits there. The difference between what would that be? $820 or so. $800 would be your profit for the month. That's why it's got to be cost effective in that regard. But you can certainly add more lots. So you could be executing, let's say, the equivalent of 5 mini lots. So if I'm earning 1,000 pips, you make $1,000. You're really making $1,000 times 5, something to that effect. It's up to you. You have complete control over all of this. So there isn't a capital balance requirement, but obviously be aware that it is $179 a month. Now, for those of you who are upgrading and you were previously using the best Forex trade copier, you're not going to be paying monthly. You're well aware of that. So just to give you the difference there, for any new subscriber that comes to this website, they pay the $179 a month, and there isn't any deal, price break, or anything like that. I never do that. And again, I've been offering the service. So there's actually a Facebook page that I've had since 2000. I think it was 16. I started it, but I've been running trade copiers, this service, for my subscribers since 2007 and 8. Where I split the difference between the two types of traders that I have. Now, we didn't always use social trader tools with this account. There were times in the past for Forex automated trade signals subscribers that I actually did use FX Blue for a while when it was probably about 5 or 6 years ago, I believe. It was a lot better. It was just easier. It was easier to set up. It was easier to control. The people that were running it were actually giving some advice and offering some tech support, and they don't really do that now. And then I've also used other platforms, like I think there was another one that we used, social. It was Forex Solutions. We tried that one for a while, and then I purchased one. So I've always had to make adjustments with technology to see which ones were better, and it was always at the suggestions of my subscribers because they had some experience with it and they thought it might work out easier for me. But Social Trader Tools is the one that we use right now for this one. We've used it in the past. We used it last summer. It works out perfectly. If you either like it or you don't. Some people still just like FX Blue, and they don't want to pay monthly. So again, they would just use the best Forex trade copier. And the results are obviously going to be a little less than what you would expect for a service that you would pay monthly like this. How many trades per month? Now, that's going to vary. I get that question all the time, but that varies. If you go to the performance page, these are my real live trades. My subscribers that are using this service right now, they come to this page and they look at it. So if there was any discrepancy, they would call me out on it. So these are my real trades, and you'll notice that some days there's just a little bit more than others. No Wednesday is ever the same as the previous Wednesday. Sometimes it might be just by, just the sheer nature of the way the market moves. But it's always different. Fridays tend to be a little more busier for me. Mondays tend to be a little slower, but I can't always guarantee that. There are Mondays where I don't even have a trade. It's happened. So it really depends. These are updated at the end of the day, sometimes during the day. If I can get an assistant, we've had a really big morning and all of the trades are closed, they'll report it. And then later on, if there's still open trades, let's say towards the end of the New York session, then we'll come back in on the same day and update it again, things like that. But you'll always see it here. But you also have a dashboard with Social Trader tools, so that every trade that I execute, you see how long I've held it, how many hours, till from the time I got into the trade, what stop loss I used. Everything is there. There's graphs, charts. You can, I think you can print everything out as a spreadsheet. That's why I really like Social Trader tools as our trade copier. It gives you a lot of reporting features as well. So every trade is on here. So how many trades, again, I can't say how many trades in a week, how many trades in a day, how many trades in a month. What I can say is that on average, even including holiday periods, the least amount that I would earn would be, let's say, 300 or 400 pips. It's happened. There have been global events where it just sort of spooked the rest of the market. I mean, the market was on hold. People weren't trading. Let's say we can go back to 2018, November and December. There were times and days where I didn't take any trades because there was so much activity, so many things changing, and so many things going on. We weren't really sure what to expect next. I needed more data. I'm a technical trader and a fundamental trader at the same time. I incorporate the news and the decision with my technical trades. So sometimes I can get the data, but I don't see the technical setup. It's still moving sideways, so I stay out of the markets. So even on the very slowest month that I've ever experienced, I still closed with 300 pips minimum. It was over 300 pips, but it was at least 300. But that hasn't happened in a really long time. So on a slow month, I would say it would be 400 to 500 pips. That is relatively easy, and I don't mean any disrespect by saying that it's easy. As I said earlier, sometimes if I was to say something like that, it might be my ego talking. Trading is not easy. What I mean is that relatively easy compared to the number of pips per month on the months where we make 1,000 to 2,000 pips. That requires a lot of attention, right? It's a lot of mental focus, making sure I'm eating right, making sure I'm sleeping right, making sure the family knows what I'm doing, that it's going to take me 15, 16, 17 hours on certain days. Everybody's on board. My family has been on board with me, understanding what it was going to cost me and take. Once I started trading for myself and others, they accept that. They help me provide that controlled environment. I don't have the drama that goes on that you would normally expect with a lot of families. My children are also older, and I've learned through this entire process how to control that and how to get the kids and my family to understand, even the people outside of my family, that cousins, family, uncles, aunts, things like that, to just understand in general what I was doing and how important it is to me that I trade for my subscribers and my investors. So again, controlling it on a slow month, it could be 400 or 500 pips. On a really busy month, back in 2014, we actually cleared. We almost had a 6,000 in 1 month, 6,000 pips in 2014. That was in the summer. There was a lot of activity. There were things going on with tension in the Middle East. So there was a lot of military tension. You probably remembered I've got stories and videos where we were actually watching Twitter feeds and things like that to get real-time updates. And it was affecting oil and ultimately affecting some of the commodity currencies that we were trading on a pretty regular basis. So you can see how it all filters through. So there are these events and times when it really demands more time than, a regular, typical trading day. You get my point. If you've been trading for a while, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But you've got to be ready. You've got to be the type of trader that's just ready to step up when the market demands your attention. So which currencies do I trade? I trade the ones that you see here. Obviously on this, you can go to the performance page, I trade obviously the ones that you see here, and then there might be a month or a few weeks where I just don't trade one in particular. The Australian dollar is one that I don't trade on a regular basis. Same thing with the dollar Canadian. But when it gives me the opportunity, I will. I do trade the euro. The yen crosses, the euro yen and the pound yen, and then the four majors: dollar Swiss, dollar yen, euro dollar, and pound dollar. So those are the ones I'm primarily focusing in on. For example, pound Swiss, there are times in the past where I've traded those, but right now I'm not currently trading those. If I do, I'll let you know. Do I trade the news? Yes, I trade the news. But if you've been using any of my services before, or if you're a coaching student, you know exactly how I'm doing this, or if you watched any of the videos, I trade it in a very specific way. My trading system doesn't require me to jump in the split second that I hear the news and then pick a side. That is very dangerous. I did that for many, many years in the beginning of my trading career, back in 2001, 2002, 2003, and I got some okay results, but I don't do it that way. There's no reason to do it that way. Too many things can go wrong, and I will not trade my investors or my subscribers' capital that way. I won't put them or subject them to that kind of environment where things can go wrong with internet connections, brokers, servers issues, missing trades not being filled, all kinds of things. I've got stories about trading the news and trades disappearing, and then 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours later they pop up on my trading account. I call the trade desk and then they tell me, oh, it wasn't there before and it's there now, sorry. All kinds of things. Things can go horribly wrong when you trade the split second when the news is released. I'm not saying that you can't do it. What I'm saying is many things can go wrong, and I will not subject your capital when I execute a trade for you. If you're using this trade copier, I won't do that to you. I know what can go wrong, and so I stay away from doing that. However, let's say it's non-farm payrolls and it's released at 8:30 New York time. I've got 30 minutes if I wait for a 1 hour candle to close outside of a consolidation range, which would be the continuation breakout trade. That's the strategy I developed. And that gives me 30 minutes to wait for the technical signal to line up in addition to what I see with the economic report with non-farm payrolls. I can read through, make sure there's no revisions, the headline numbers match up. Everything's working the way I expect it to. And then I get the technical trade and I just get into the trade and it works and it reaches that 55 pip take profit. So that's how I trade the news. I do trade the news, but again, it's technical and fundamental at the same time. And then there are just sometimes with the news, even though it looks great, I make that decision as an experienced trader with almost 19 years experience. I can make the decision to just stay out of the way. That is also one of my other biggest advantages why I can close every month with a profit, is that I know when to stop trading. I didn't know how to do that in the beginning of my trading career. I just kept hitting it. Every time I saw a price moving, I would try to jump in. And it doesn't work like that. I'm very particular. I'm very specific about my trades, very deliberate, and I am very, very, very patient. That is the one thing that I can say I learned as a trader is that I learned how to become extremely patient. If I wanted to continue to make money and make profits like this, I had to be very, very patient. But I know that by being patient and waiting for my setup, I will close with at very minimum 400 to 500 pips for the month. But I can clear 1,000 pips. Some months I can go 1,400 pips. Other months it'll be 1,700 pips. Other months it'll be over 2,000 pips. That's including all opened and closed, all winning, all losing trades with a 55 pip stop loss. Do I use the same strategy for this particular trade copier, even though it's different than the best Forex trade copier? Yes, I use the same strategy. I actually started my trading career with futures. So just to give you a little heads up, something that you could do or something that you could that we could apply in the future, I do have another service for futures. So I started off my trading career trading futures before I got into Forex. About 2 to 3 months later, I opened up my first trading account with FXCM, and I've been trading both ever since. So the system that I was developing was actually the same system that I was using to futures. Obviously, different time frames, different things that you need to be aware of. There's some basic principles that you need to be aware of, but for the most part, the strategies are the same. And definitely from one trade copier service to another with Forex, yes, it is always the same basic strategies that I use. Why do I have two trade copier services? I answered that question. So again, I have two types of traders. Their mentalities are different. Their experiences are different. Their goals are different. I have some traders that just have a really, really small account. And they don't want to pay monthly and they can't really afford much and they can't really trade large positions anyway. So the best Forex trade copier makes sense to them. They pay one time for a whole year and they get one trade at a time. Some days I do trade, sometimes I don't trade if it really doesn't set up for the best Forex trade copier. But all of my attention, obviously, for those who have larger trading accounts and they're looking to make as much money as possible, many of my subscribers that trade standard lots are earning $5,000, $6,000, $7,000, $15,000 and over $27,000 a month as a result of these trades and me executing for them. Many of them have been my previous coaching students, tried their hand at coaching, and then maybe after a couple of years they decide it's just too much, it's a lot of work. It is a lot of work. It is a lot of work. I'm just one of those individuals that has a high energy levels at pretty much all times. I'm very, very careful about what I think and who I surround myself with so that my energy levels remain high, and I'm always trading at a high optimum level. I've always focused on brain health and issues like that. It's just been something that I was naturally into before I became a trader anyway, but it really has worked in my favor. So I'm not really talking so much about myself, but sharing some tips with you that these are critical and very important things. I'm constantly learning, constantly drilling on the basics. For example, I've said many years ago when I first started trading and I really accelerated, I needed to absorb a lot of information. So I went out and did little things like purchase that IQ program. They still have it on the internet, and it's a speed reading course. They used to offer it on the television, and I bought it, and I got myself to the point where I was reading over 5,000 and 6,000 and 7,000 words a minute, and actually retaining this the content and everything that I was reading, and it really took me to another level. And I continued to practice my IQ. It's everything that I do, and I do that for my subscribers, my investors, and for my family so that I can continue to operate at this optimal level. Is this always a monthly payment? Yes, it is always a monthly payment. This service, Forex Automated Trade Signals, is always a monthly payment of $179. I don't change the price. I don't give discounts. I don't add, buy 1 month and get 3 months free. I don't do any of that here. It's always just $179, and your credit card is automatically charged every 30 days. You can cancel at any time. That's it. The only time I offer a refund is if I fail to earn a profit. That's it. If I fail to earn a profit in a 30-day period, I will offer a refund. I don't fall into the situation like that because I'm very careful. Again, I have these just the environment, I guess. When I go back to saying that I know when to stop trading, that is probably one of the first things that I can say to a lot of people, a lot of new traders, that they need to learn and to understand. When that concept was initially brought to me when I first started trading, I didn't know really what that meant. You need to learn to stop trading at certain times. You need to learn when not to trade. I didn't know really what that meant. But as I experienced these opportunities where I could consistently see that I was making mistakes and I was always losing money at that point, it was almost like I had to make those mistakes to be able to identify those mistakes. So again, my biggest advantage is knowing when to stop trading. How long have I been offering this service? So again, back to 2007, that first year in the chat room, my subscribers were suggesting that I use the trade copier and offer it to them. And it has not always been Social Trader tools. We've used different ones, but right now we are using Social Trader tools. And this particular version of my trade copier service for the more advanced trader has always been in existence. I've always had that there. I've even offered it to my coaching students. What lot size do I recommend? Again, going back to just the being cost effective using a service like this, if you're going to be paying $179 a month, obviously if you're trading micro lots and you're earning 10 cents a pip, it may not be cost effective. But even if you are trading mini lots and you're earning $1 a pip, and I clear 500 pips, you're still earning a profit. Average, it's going to be 1,000 pips, maybe 1,200, 1,400 pips a month on average if you look at the entire year. So definitely at that point, it's cost effective. So if you can trade a mini lot at $1 a point, and then of course you could always add more mini lots, right? You can do 2, 3, 4, 5 mini lots if that's what you're comfortable with. Some people do all different types of variations. They've got their own idea, and you control the leverage and the lot sizing inside of the dashboard. I have nothing to do with it. All I do is focus in on executing my trades, because I know the better I trade for myself, my family benefits, and you benefit because you're going to get these trades. What's the cutoff for upgrading my trade copier service from the Best Forex trade copier to this trade copier? So I mentioned that on the 20th of this week, that's Thursday, 20th of June, we're going to start onboarding everybody. But what I need to know is how many people want this subscription that want to upgrade, because I have to signal and notify Social Trader Tools that I'm going to be onboarding these new subscribers at a different in a different way. Because if you're upgrading from the Best Forex trade copier service to this one, you don't pay $179 a month because you've already purchased the Best Forex trade copier. So you'll be notified exactly how you go through that. And I have a special link for subscribers who were previously using the Best Forex trade copier. So you would not be purchasing it from these pages directly. This information is for a brand new visitor to this site who's considering purchasing, who has never purchased from me before. So again, if you are a previous subscriber and you want to upgrade, you will only pay one time for the upgrade, and then from that point on, it's just $10 a month directly to Social Trader Tools. So the cutoff for you to let me know and to purchase that upgrade is by the end of June 20th. I might hold it through till Friday. As you can imagine, when I have cutoffs, the very next day I get like 7, 8, 9, 10, sometimes 15 or 20 emails saying, hey, I was late, I was out of town, I just saw your email, can you give it to me? So as you can imagine, I probably will drag it out another day or so, but be aware that the 20th is right now at this point the cutoff for upgrading if you've used the Best Forex trade copier. And again, it's just because I need to know how many to notify, and then we're going to be onboarding. So you will get your first day's trades on Monday and Tuesday of the following week. If you're not completely set up by Monday, then of course you'll be getting your trades by Tuesday. And then your 30 days from that point on will start from the initial point that you add and connect your trading account to the trade copier on the Social Trader Tools platform. There's a dashboard. You get a link, you create a username and password, and you're in, and then you set up your account on your own. And they offer 100% technical support. Social Trader Tools is there to answer all of your questions. And it is a good thing. It's a good thing because there are obviously times that a subscriber could ask me a question. If I didn't develop the software, I just can't answer that question. And then I would have to redirect them, and it would be a lot of time because then I have to send them off to somebody else. It's better for you to go straight to the developer. They'll help you with all of the questions. And it helps me because I no longer have to take 3, 4, 5, 7 hours a day or out of my time to assist with technical support, right? I can just focus in on trading. That is my focus. That's my job. That's my responsibility. That's why I'm here. So it's a wonderful opportunity to have that the service where they provide all of the technical support. How many pips per month? Again, going back to this is updated, as I mentioned, as often as we possibly can. Sometimes at the end of the day, sometimes a couple of times a day. It could be anywhere from 500 pips to 1,500 pips to 2,500 pips in a month. It really depends. Very often the summer months are pretty good for me. They're really good. I tend to make quite a bit of money. I can't promise that, but very often they're very good. I know I get a lot of questions, and I wish I could answer your question directly and definitely, but I get the question, how many pips are you going to make in a month? And is there a guarantee? The only thing that I can guarantee is that I won't have a losing month. If that ever happens to me, I will refund your purchase. That's the only thing I can guarantee. I can control my behavior. And even if the market is out of control, then I can control my behavior to not trade that volatile, extremely confusing environment. I can see it, so I stay out of it. And very often, I don't get signals anyway, according to my trading system. So I don't get trade opportunities anyway. And then when things normalize, I jump right back in and I test it, right? I'll take short-term trade opportunities where I scale out at, let's say, for example, if it was a continuation breakout trade, and for those of you who know, I use a 55 pip take profit on the majors on that particular technique. So if the market's really choppy and we're experiencing some really interesting volatility, crazy, political comments. 1 hour it's this, the next hour it's causing price to go up, then the next hour it's going down, and the next hour it's going back up again. We've had those. I mean, even the Greece and the European crisis, 2012, 2011, 2000. I mean, I can just go on and on and on with all these dates that these events have happened. When it seems to be normalizing, but the market's still sensitive to news and comments, then I'm still going to carefully trade and close out, let's say, at 20, 25 pip targets, things like that. So I'm still going to earn profits, but I know when to stay out of the market so I can lock in and secure those profits. It's not that I'm just trying to not trade because I'm afraid, but I'm waiting for the market to normalize. It will always return to a normal trading environment. It always will. It's almost like looking at it on a chart, from looking at trending moves to consolidation, tight squeezes, and then breakouts, and then trending moves again. That consistent oscillating cycle, markets move in cycles anyway, daily, weekly, monthly, business cycles, interest rate cycles. There are so many cycles I can go on and talk about, and I've studied them all. Obviously, there's going to be cycles in the future that I may not even understand, that I'm going to have to study. That's the beauty of trading, is that I'm always learning something new. Everybody will always learn something new. But what I'm getting at is that's that cycle, that's that volatility, the tight consolidation, everybody's afraid, or everybody's waiting for the next move, or all the positions, everybody who's open, is open at that point. They're waiting for the breakout, and then we get the trending move. It'll always return to a normal trading environment. When we go through the volatile trading times, November and December 2018, there were a few days that I didn't trade at all, and I would get emails and people would say, when are you going to trade? When are you going to trade? When are you going to put on the next trade? You can see it. You know what's going on. If you're following the market, you're following the news, you know it's pretty volatile, and you know that there are probably times that nobody should really be in the market unless you're already in. Otherwise, just watch it. Just watch and wait until it settles, and wait until we get that, where the market returns to a more normal environment. And you see it. I see it. You can see it. Technically, I've been trading for almost 19 years now, and I can see it. So again, that pretty much answers all of those questions. The cutoff period is going to be the end of this week, the 20th, probably the 21st. We'll be onboarding everybody over the weekend. You'll be getting a link. You'll be getting more videos on how to set all of this up. You'll get your first trade either Monday or Tuesday of the following week. I expect that towards the end of the week, I'll get a big, inflow of more people that want to join in. So it's going to cause us to have to process more of that. And so please be aware that if you send an email, we might not respond within the hour. Sometimes if I'm right in my email and you send me an email, I'll respond quickly. Other times it might take me, a few hours and a few days. And I do like to take some time off. I know that I need to take care of myself. So usually Saturday and Sunday is my time off. I usually cut off trading on Friday early. And I do that because I try not to get stuck in a position through the weekend. However, there are times when I do get stuck in a position. I can't control it, but I just manage it. And I know that it's okay for me to be in that position. If I absolutely think it's a bad idea to hold through the weekend because there could be some commentary from Fed officials or banking officials that could cause a big reaction, then I'll close the trade out before I stop trading on Friday anyway. So usually California time, I'm in California, I'll stop trading at about 9, 10 o'clock in the morning, which would be noon, 12 p.m. or 1 p.m. New York time. And that is, again, on Friday. It's just so that I do that on Fridays, just so that I'm not stuck in a trade, or I'm done trading. For example, all of this money was earned with these trades at about that time, before 11 o'clock. And I didn't have to trade it right into the close. There are other Fridays where I do have to trade and manage these positions right into the close. It's always different. You know that. As an experienced trader, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's always going to be a little bit different. It's just, I wish it could repeat like this all the time, and it was always something that we could always count on. If that was the case, then nobody would even need me, right? Everybody would be doing it. It would be easy, and everybody would be making money. But the markets have never been that way, and they're never going to be that way. And you've got to be a student of the market if you really want to make thousands and thousands, if not tens or hundreds of thousands of dollars a year. It's just the way it's going to be. It's always going to be that way. Anyway, so thank you very much for considering. You do not have to buy the Forex automated trade signals. You can continue to use the best Forex trade copier, and it'll be fine. based on the value and what you paid for and what you're going to get, I will make sure that you get those trades over the course of the entire year, and it'll be cost effective for you. But if you really want to make a lot of money and you want to get the results that I personally get, you've got to use the Forex automated trade signals. That's where you're going to use a more robust trade copier. Social Trader Tools right now, hands down, is the best one that I'm comfortable with and that my subscribers like. There might be a slight learning curve for you when you're getting in there and you're setting up your account. Don't worry. I'll answer as many questions as I can. I have videos for you, and Social Trader Tools will help you set it up. I personally believe it's a lot easier to set up than FX Blue. FX Blue used to be really easy. You just downloaded it and added it right to your MT4 account. Now, FX Blue requires you to do a email verification, a cell phone verification, all kinds of stuff. And it can get a little bit confusing and tedious for a lot of people. You don't have to do that with Social Trader Tools. You just log into the dashboard, enter in your details. If you've never done it before, obviously, I'm not going to tell you it's easy. You just follow the step-by-step plan. Just know that we're here to help you with it. And your time doesn't start until you get that, until your trading account is connected to the trade copier. All right, thank you very much. I appreciate your time. I look forward to trading for you, and I will be sending out some updates throughout the rest of the week on performance and also additional questions if I feel they need to be answered and I haven't answered them yet.